How's it going out there? This is Future Miner. So, did you know King James was an author? So, before the Bible, apparently, King James had wrote another book. And this book was called Demonology. So, at the title, it's probably a book I'd have to pass on. Just by, if I saw a book at the library or something when libraries were a thing and I saw a book called Demonology, that's probably not a book I would be taking home, let alone even touching or looking at it. But according to my research, this book is about telling people that the spiritual realm is real. It appears he wanted to show people that witches were real and spells and magic, all that stuff was real. And he wanted everybody to know that it was real. So he wrote a book about it. See, the thing about stuff like that is I don't really need to know stuff like that's real because I believe it's real. Like, I don't need to try a Ouija board out to see that stuff's real. Like, I'll assume it's real just based off of the stories I've heard. So I'm not gonna start messing around with it just to see if it's gonna work or not. Same thing as far as practicing any type of spells or anything. Like, I stay away from that stuff because I believe this stuff's real. And I think that opens up doors to you. Like we discussed in the earlier video about mental conditions, like schizophrenia and multiple personalities and stuff like that, and if it's related to possession. So I believe it is related to possession, some of the cases at least. And so when it comes to like practicing magic and spells and stuff, I believe that's one of the fastest ways to find out that stuff's real, because you're going to start having problems in your life if you start tampering with that stuff. Well, I believe you there's a chance you're going to have problems, a good chance. So yeah, I would be leaving that stuff alone. So this book that King James wrote to convince the world that demons are real and that magic is real and witches are real. Okay, well, that's interesting because, I mean, I guess that's what he felt compelled to do. It's just, during those times, it was the Dark Ages and the medieval times. So from what we know, I mean, it seems like there was a lot of reports of this type of stuff going on with witches, and they're burning them at the stake and stuff. So that was like a thing back then, big time. So I could kind of see why he would write that book. I'd like to know your thoughts though. Like, what do you think about all this? What do you make of all of this? It's a pretty strong title to call your book Demonology. Would you read it? Like, would you read that book? I mean, like I said, I wouldn't, just because I try to stay away from that stuff. I mean, when it gets kind of creepy when you start getting too deep into that stuff. I even kind of stopped reading the book of Enoch because of stuff like that, because I usually listen to audiobooks. And so when I was listening to the book of Enoch and they got to the parts where they were like naming all of these demons, like they just had a whole list of them that they were naming and what they do. Like this one taught women how to put on makeup. This one taught men how to create weapons out of metals. And, like it just described all of these demons and it named them by name and described what they do. This one affects people's personalities, and like this one teaches war. Like all of these different demons that it was describing. I was listening to it one day and I was just like, it came on, it was on while I was sleeping because I had fell asleep. So I listened to the whole book like a few times. But I remember one time I was just like listening to it, and then I fell asleep. Then I woke up in the middle of the night, and it was at that part where he's describing the demons' names and everything. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna be deleting this off of my device first thing in the morning, because I don't want to be sleeping and wake up to hear like the names of the specific names of demons. I think there was like 72 of them or something. I don't know. But yeah, I wasn't trying to hear that anymore. So I just thought it was too much information. Like, I don't need to know their names. I guess it was kind of interesting hearing it the first time, but like, no thanks. So with this King James book, I don't know if it goes into stuff like that or not. Like, does it get into specifics? Like, see, that's the thing. Like, you think some of these books are like, it's like, it seems like a decent book, but then they get into some super details about things, supernatural things and demonic things, and it's like, no, like, I don't need to know specific details about this type of stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if any of you are aware that King James, the author of the Bible, wrote a book about demons, or if any of you have read it. But yeah, I'm not gonna be reading it. I don't know. Like, let me know if you read it, and like, what do you think about it if you have read it? If not, or if you would read it, let me know if you would read it. So does this affect how you think about King James at all? Like, does this affect how you think about the Bible at all? So I did a video about the secret history of the Bible, and it appears like, so King James didn't really like write the Bible. It seems more like he turned it into an English book, because before that there was like these Masoretic texts and Septuagints and whatever. I mean, it was like he was able to take these Dead Sea Scrolls, and it was like in another language. It was in Hebrew and Greek and stuff. So he was able to. It sounds like, well, Tinsdale was the one that it seems like was the one that translated the Bible to English, and then it was like King James really started taking credit for. Sounded like he started like somehow getting his name involved in everything. So it's an interesting video. You'll have to check that out on my Future Mind 2 channel. But so I don't know, like, it seems like the Bible was it's, according to my research, it's like it was a thing before King James got his hands involved in it. But it sounds like King James had a lot to do with it becoming an English book. So this is what they're saying, at least. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would say, yeah, it is a bit disturbing that he wrote to me that he wrote that book. I mean, it sounds like it was all good intentions, though. It sounds, from what I've researched on the Book of Demons, the demonology book by King James the First. I mean, all the reports about it just imply that witches were like prevalent in those times, and he just wanted to get the word out that this stuff was real and take it serious, and I don't know, it sounds like he was probably trying to warn people about how real this stuff is, like spells and magic and stuff. So if that's the case, I mean, hey, that sounds like he had good intentions about it. But if I was to start looking at the book, if it starts getting, if I let's say I start looking at it, and the way I would judge the book is if it started getting into details about, like if it started getting to specifics about spells and specifics about, names of these demons, and if it starts to really get into all these specifics like that, that would kind of like make me take a step back from the book. I wouldn't be able to, I'd be like, I'd stop reading it. I would. Because there's no way you should have to get that much detail about these things. And it doesn't feel like okay to be getting all those details. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty startling that he wrote this book. So, but he may have had good intentions. Apparently, that's what they're saying. He had good intentions about it to get the word out. So yeah, let me know what you think about this. I'll leave a link in the comment section in the description box if you want to learn more about all this. So yeah, if you I also leave links to my social media and my other channels, and if you want to donate to the channel, I'd appreciate it. You can chip in as little as $1. Then you gain access to secret videos and early releases and sneak peeks. And so thank you for tuning in. This has been Feed Your Mind, signing off.